Hi everyone, I'm Flavia and I hope all is well. Today we will be creating beautiful butterfly note cards that we can use for many different occasions. If you like butterflies, you will definitely love the Spellbinders Stitched Glimmer Butterfly set. It comes with a lot of die cutting and hot foiling plates, and there are many techniques that we can do with this set, such as stitching or hot foiling the butterfly wings, as well as the die cutting inlay technique. I love that we have all of these options. Off camera, I die cut lots of these butterflies out of white cardstock, so I can make it any color that I want later. These butterfly die cuts are very beautiful and elegant, and you can also use them as they are if you want to for a simpler look. Today I will be adding some color to these die cuts by using Ranger Distress Oxide inks in the colors Picked Raspberry, Spun Sugar, and Wilted Violet. As we do this, we have to make sure to overlap the colors just a little so we can get a nice blending result. Also, remember that you can use any type of ink to do this, or even color these white die cuts using markers. To add some sparkle to these butterflies, after ink blending, I will spray golden shimmer over these die cuts. If you don't have any shimmer spray, know that you can create your own by mixing water with perfect pearls if you happen to have that. And if you're using ink pads that react with water, such as Distress Oxide inks, you can just spray water over them to create a really cool effect. After I'm done ink blending all of the pieces that I need for today's note cards, I will move on to the individual die cut wings that we need to adhere on top of these large butterfly die cuts. For this first note card, I chose to hot foil the wings using purple foil. On the right, I have my Spellbinders Glimmer machine that is already on, and this green light means that the platform is hot enough so we can start foiling. On the left, I have my white cardstock with all of the hot foil plates taped to a piece of foil and to the white cardstock so nothing shifts as I run this through my die cut machine later. When hot foiling, always remember that the colorful side of the foil, in this case the purple side, needs to be touching or facing the metal plates. I will place this white panel on my Glimmer with all of the metal plates touching the platform so they can get hot. My timer button is not working, so I will leave this on for a couple of minutes and then I will remove this entire platform and run it through my Sizzix die cut machine. So we use the Glimmer machine to add heat and the die cut machine to add pressure, and that is how the foil will be transferred to the cardstock. As we peel this off, we need to be very careful because the plates will be hot. Here is a closer look at these foiled butterfly wings. I did get some overfoiling here and there, but that is not a problem, and we can easily remove any overfoiling by using a sand eraser. When using a sand eraser, we have to make sure that we are being very light-handed, so we only remove the overfoil that is sitting on the raised portion of the cardstock. It is very common for overfoiling to happen, so if you love this technique, make sure to always have a sand eraser around because it can be a lifesaver. Now I can go ahead and die cut all of these wings by using the coordinating metal plates. I will also tape each metal plate to my panel just to be safe so nothing shifts as I run it through my die cut machine. At the end, I decided to also add some color to these die cuts as well by using those same ink colors that I showed you earlier, and I also used that golden shimmer spray. As you do this, if you feel that the ink removed some of the shine from the foil details, you can simply wipe it off with a clean cloth. I will use foam square tape to adhere these die cut wings to the butterfly, but if you prefer not adding dimension to your butterflies, you can go ahead and use liquid adhesive instead. To add some interest to the front panels of today's note cards, I will use the Spellbinders Faux Stitching Embossing folder. Before I place the cardstock inside the embossing folder, I like to generously mist it with water to avoid tears and cracks on my cardstock. Then I will cut a section off of this panel on a diagonal before adhering to my note card for a different look. As I'm adhering the panel to my note card, I like to place them on a corner of my score buddy just to make sure that both pieces are perfectly lined up as I adhere them together. You can also use the Misty Stamping tool to do this trick. Then I will add a thin holographic cardstock strip under the dry embossed panel and add that large butterfly with the hot foiled wings right in the center of this panel. For the sentiment, I will add a foiled sentiment strip that says "Sending You Strength" that I created by using the Spellbinders mini everyday sentiment set. I love this set and I use it very often because it has lots of sentiments that we can use for many different occasions, and it also comes with 3 coordinating metal plates that we can use to cut out the sentiments. In order to make this sentiment strip stand out, since it's so thin, I will stack a few die cuts. Then I can go ahead and adhere this sentiment strip right in the center of this butterfly using foam tape. I love this note card as it is, and we could definitely stop here, but since I love adding embellishments to my note cards, I will go ahead and add some flat back silver beads around the wings. I'm using the Gina K Connect glue to do this because I know this is a very strong glue that dries clear, so I will not worry too much about having any glue oozing out or about having any of these beads coming off later. For the next note card, instead of hot foiling the wings for the butterfly like we just did, I will do some stitching instead by using 3 strands of purple DMC floss. I will begin by taping the DMC floss in the back of this die cut using a small piece of purple tape just to make the process easier. It will not look pretty, but it doesn't matter because we are going to glue this to the note card and nobody will ever know. Aside from cutting these tiny holes so we can do the stitching, the metal plates also left engraved lines on the cardstock that we can follow as we do the stitching. So this is very easy to do and great for those who don't have a lot of experience stitching. With the Stitched Glimmer butterflies set, we get metal plates to create 2 types of butterflies, and I will use both types of butterflies this time. The front panel of this one will be very similar to the previous one. However, instead of adding a sentiment strip, I will foil a sentiment directly to the note card on the bottom right corner. That means that I need to hot foil the sentiment before adhering the dry embossed panel. So here I'm just temporarily placing the embossed panel over my note card to figure out the best placement for the sentiment. Once I know it, I will tape this hot foil plate in place, remove the embossed panel, and slide a small piece of purple tape under this plate. Then I can go ahead and place this note card on my Glimmer machine with the metal plate touching the hot platform. As you do this, make sure to unfold the note card before adding the Glimmer machine plates on top. After 1 or 2 minutes, I can remove this entire platform and run it through my die cut machine to apply some pressure. Then I can peel off the foil. I will remove any overfoiling with a sand eraser and adhere that dry embossed panel to the front of my note card. This time, instead of a holographic, I will add a silver glitter cardstock strip. I will adhere that smaller butterfly on the bottom left corner and the large one on the top right corner of this note card. This large butterfly will actually have 2 layers. I will adhere this finished butterfly with the stitched wings on top of this ink blended one that I have right next to my adhesive bottle. I will only add a thin line of liquid adhesive in the center of this die cut because I want to be able to lift the butterfly wings a bit when I'm done. As a final touch, I will add a few die cut flowers that I already had around and those same flat back beads around the butterfly wings as well as to the center of each flower. Moving on, with this next note card, I want to show you that we can also create really beautiful butterflies with the die cut inlay technique, which is a technique where we can glue all of these little pieces back into the negative spaces. I really enjoy this technique because it is like putting together a puzzle. With this technique, we get a very smooth result and no extra dimension. So if you like 1 layer note card and no extra dimension, the die cut inlay technique is perfect for that. However, this note card will have a little bit of dimension because this large butterfly will also have 2 layers that I die cut using different colors of cardstock. The front panel for this one turned out to be my favorite and I would definitely be making more note cards like this. Just like I did with the previous note cards, I cut the embossed panel on a diagonal before adhering it to the front of my note card, and then I added a thin cardstock strip. After that, I glued a long sentiment strip that I hot foiled using another set by Spellbinders. Next, I added the leftover piece of my dry embossed panel to cover the rest of my front panel. To finish it up, I will add flat back beads to these large butterfly wings, and later I will glue this smaller butterfly to a white envelope to make it match the note card. For this last one, I want to show you that we can also use the large die-cut butterflies as a stencil. Here I'm using the Simon Says Stamp Ocean ink pad and a blending brush to do the stenciling technique. Once I'm done stenciling, I will glue the butterfly bodies that I die cut out of holographic cardstock. I will add some clear flat back beads here and there, and a large die cut sentiment that I will strategically place it over a section where I kind of messed it up. To create this just a note sentiment, I used a stamp and die set by the Greetery stamps. I will make sure to list all of the products that I used in the description box down below. And remember, you can also visit my blog for a visual supply list. You can always find the link to my blog in the description box down below. Here is a closer look at all of the note cards that I created using the Spellbinders Stitched Glimmer Butterfly set. All of these note cards measure 5.5 inches tall by 4.25 inches wide. However, for the ones that have part of the butterfly wings sticking out, I actually cut the card base to 5 inches by 3/3, so the final note card would fit inside a 2-size envelopes. I hope you enjoyed this video and felt inspired. For pictures of these note cards, make sure to visit my blog and my Instagram page. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel so you do not miss the next one. Thank you for spending this time with me. Have a wonderful day and happy crafting!